I've been riding the Crux around for a while, and I'm finding that not only is this bike great off-road, it's also great on-road. So what happens when you want it to do a little bit more on the pavement as well as the gravel? Stay tuned. We last left off with the bike pretty much coming in as stock. Now it comes as a one by and it stayed that way, but the stock tires are 38 Pathfinders, which are great for the most part. It can handle a large part of gravel, especially if you put the PSI a little bit down, not to mention the clearance that you get. However, when it comes to wanting it to ride just a little bit faster for speed and a little bit more aero and a tiny bit narrower, does it make that big of a difference? I made some changes, and I think these changes, even though they're small and simple, can make a big difference. Let's start with the obvious choice. The first thing is the wheel set, and I've been looking for a great pair that can do well both on road as well as off. I came across these Hunt 48 Limitless wheels. Let me tell you a little bit about them. They come in as stock. You can upgrade to ceramic speed internals. Now, what's interesting about this wheel set is that when you order it on the Hunt website, it actually is in the road category, but you can very much take it off-road because it can accommodate such wide tires. Now, to give you a little bit of background about these wheels, these are known as the Aero Disc. They are 48 millimeters deep as well as a 35 wide external. That is really wide for a road wheel. Not to mention 22.5 wide internal and 1,618 grams. Now, with that type of wheel set, it can really accommodate a lot of different tires, and that came to be sort of the second piece of the puzzle I needed to figure out. Now, when it comes to tires, I went with Vittoria's Shimano Zeros. Now, these tires won the UCI Gravel Worlds, but they come in a variety of different widths. I decided because the rim is so wide, what would happen if I went with maybe not such a wide tire? So I went with 35s, and when pumped up to about 60 PSI, you almost can't tell on the road that it has that much difference between that and say a 32. When you take the corners, you can corner with confidence because it has sort of sticky, but not quite knobby corners and then a slick center. This is a very fast tire, but I recommend if you do take it on gravel, just take off 10 to 15 PSI and it rolls great on gravel as well. Probably the easiest change you can do is switch it out from mountain bike pedals to the road pedals. It makes such a difference. It's got a larger platform, and if you're still going on gravel and you don't plan on unclipping, the road pedal is not that bad of an option. Pros use it for all kinds of gravel races, including events like Gravel Locos, and even some are crazy enough to do it at races like SBT if it's dry. So don't count the road pedal out. And when you're on the road, that engagement into the cleat makes things a lot smoother and transfers power just a slight bit better than those mountain bike pedals with more float. Of course, we can't forget about a hub check. And I think these Hunt hubs sound really, really good, especially when you're going pretty fast. You be the judge. Between the tire, wheel, and pedal changes, this bike actually feels like a completely different bike. I know these changes are small, but once getting out on the road and getting up to speed, you almost can't tell that this bike is even a gravel bike. Now, the one thing that is limiting me is the gearing. Noticing that I have deeper wheels on a flat or slightly downhill road, even with a tailwind sometimes, makes me spin out my 40-10. That is as max as it'll go. So my other option in the next build is to change out the gearing. So this is a good in-between road/gravel or road plus, whatever you want to call it. Great bike in the meantime, deeper wheels, slightly more aero, slightly narrower tires, as well as the road pedals. Wait until you see what the next phase of this build brings. And until next time, this is Brian saying stay Veloworthy.